Hello and welcome to First Unitarian Church of Providence, where we love beyond belief. I'm Neil Bartholomew, the chair of the worship committee, which hosts a series of services during the summer when our senior minister is away. These services are led by lay members and friends of the congregation, and the music is also provided by members and friends of the congregation. As our bridging team continues working on the logistics and planning for bringing us safely and equitably back into our meeting house on Sunday mornings, we are presenting the services for the first portion of the summer as a series of online videos. We hope that you will enjoy the variety of wisdom and talent that our congregation has to offer. And now, please join in our unison reading as we light our chalice. This light burns also in our hearts, and it lights our path towards harmony, justice, and hope for all.
Good morning, and welcome to this July 25th Sunday morning service of the First Unitarian Church of Providence, where we love beyond belief. I'm Lee Rodman, and I'll be your worship associate this morning. It's my pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Aida Wilby. Aida joined the First U community in 2015 and is one of the First U Chalice Circle facilitators. She grew up in Armenia and moved to the United States in her 20s. She enjoys being with her blended family, taking long walks in nature, forgetting herself in photography, finding new gardens, and tending to her indoor plants. Later in today's service, Aida will share reflections on our desire to survive, will to succeed, and patience to change our own circumstances. This morning's music is performed by the women's a cappella group Sally Racket. Aida and Sally Racket have chosen readings and songs that convey what Aida's experiences have taught her: the importance of slowing down to appreciate the world around us.
Open the door softly, I've something to tell you, dear. Open it no wider than the crack upon the floor. Open the door softly, I've something to tell you, dear. Warm summer grasses have whispered it in your ear. Skeins of shining waters ask you patiently for to hear. Tall, lonely timbers have taught it to the deer. Sad winds in autumn will tell you as they pass by. Wild geese flying eastward leave their music in the sky. Listen at evening and hear the curlews cry. Open the door softly, I've something to tell you, dear. Open it no wider than the crack upon the floor. Open the door softly, I've something to tell you, dear.
Today's reading is by the beloved contemporary poet Mary Oliver. This is Invitation. Oh, do you have time to linger for just a little while out of your busy and very important day for the goldfinches that have gathered in a field of thistle for a musical battle to see who can sing the highest note or the lowest, or the most expressive of mirth or the most tender? Their strong, blunt beaks drink the air as they strive melodiously, not for your sake and not for mine, and not for the sake of winning, but for sheer delight and gratitude. Believe us, they say, it is a serious thing just to be alive on this fresh morning in the broken world. I beg of you, do not walk by without pausing to attend to this rather ridiculous performance. It could mean something. It could mean everything. It could be what Rilke meant when he wrote, "You must change your life."
Winds be still, storm clouds pass and silence come. Please grace this time with harmony. Fly, bird of hope, and shine, light of love, and in calm meadow find tranquility. Bird, fly high, lift our gaze toward distant view. Help us to sense life's mystery. Fly high and far and lead us each to see how we move through the winds of eternity. Light shining, illuminate our inward view. Help us to see with clarity. Shine bright and true, so we may join our songs in new songs that become full symphony.
Our meditative focus this morning is a quote from professional tennis player and activist Arthur Ashe. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can.
Good morning. Thank you for being with us. A few months ago, my husband and I went on a hike in Heard State Park in Connecticut. During our beautiful winter walk through the cold forest, stepping over brown, paper-thin leaves, slippery ice, hardened snow, and huge bare trees, I thought to myself, this walk is like our life. How many of us rush through life without allowing ourselves to pause and be mindful of our time and surroundings? How much do we care to know one another? How much in our life is really up to us? Are we capable of changing our own circumstances? Life may be painful at times and unbearably sad. Life can also be a burst of enormous joy. Life is a gift and ours to be lived. In his book, The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle said, "Time isn't precious at all, because it is an illusion. What you perceive as precious is not time, but one point that is out of time. The now, that is precious indeed." The more you focus on time, past and future, the more you miss the now, the most precious thing there is. We each have a story. My story started with a painful loss. I was 2 months old. My 32-year-old mother was mourning the death of my father while working 3 shifts at the factory under the Soviet regime to support me, my 2 older brothers, and our paternal grandmother. My grandmother was our primary caretaker. She was selflessly giving her life to raising us, tirelessly cooking and cleaning every day, gently loving and tending to us. I was the only girl, much younger than my siblings, wishing my life was different, wanting to have a father, wishing my mom was more tender, dreaming that I was protected by my older brothers. I was fortunate to have an incredibly loving extended family with 2 aunts, an uncle, and lots of cousins on my mom's side of the family. We were very close. Growing up, we spent a lot of time together. When I got a little older, I wanted to grow up fast. I wanted to be able to leave home and build my own life. I married very young and left home. During my first marriage, I quickly learned that women had no voice and could not do anything without their husband's approval. In the fall of 1992, 3 years after I was married, we immigrated to the United States, leaving my entire family behind. We moved to a different country, a completely different continent, with 2 toddlers, without a single word of English, an abusive husband, and $0 to our name. I was only 24 years old. For the first 3 years, I stayed at home, trying to learn how to be a mom and figuring out how to take care of my children without being allowed to work. I try to learn English, primarily while watching cartoons with my kids and American soap operas. We were on welfare. I could barely afford food after paying our rent. I couldn't even buy toys for my kids and dress them primarily in hand-me-downs. For many years, I endured domestic violence. My only role was to be a dutiful wife. I learned to be patient and strong for my kids. There was one thing, though, I was free to do. I was free to dream. No one had to know. I dreamt of a better future for my son and daughter. I dreamed of being respected and appreciated. I dreamt of happiness and love. I dreamt of seeing my family back at home one more time. I dreamt of speaking English, dreamt of being able to work and buy things my children needed and wanted. I dreamt of a professional career. I dreamt of having friends. I dreamt of traveling the world. I dreamt silently. I dreamt all the time, even though everything seemed impossible. There were many sacrifices throughout our journey. I painfully regret that I always rushed. I rushed to grow up fast. I did not slow and cherish my grandmother more. Did not tell her she meant the world to me. She was my protector, and her love, my sanctuary. I rushed and left home at the age of 19 and did not make any effort to get to know my brothers. I probably could if I tried, even if they were much older than me. I rushed and did not see how my mother struggled, working unbelievably hard and long hours to provide for us. I could have told her that I needed her. I longed for her attention and love. I could have shown her that I appreciated her. I wish I knew better. I was not taught the simplest things. I was not mature enough to even realize that marriage is forever, that children are made in this union. Children inherit traits, values, behaviors. Children carry their family name forever. Children learn from what they see and hear. They are withheld opportunities and possibilities based on where they come from and what they are exposed to. I dared to be courageous and fought against tradition and oppression. I hurried to get a degree and get ahead in life. This took an enormous amount of boldness and determination. Seeing my struggles, my mom came to live with us 2 years after we arrived in the US. I'm forever grateful for her. For many years, I worked 2 jobs and went to school full-time. I hurried to find a job and provide for my children. Every morning, I rushed to drop my kids off at school and race to work. At the end of the school day, I pick my kids from school and dropped them off at home with my mom. Every evening I rushed to school myself, had a brief catnap in a car at the university parking lot, and rushed to my classes. After class, I hurried home, hoping the kids were still awake. Rushed to check their homework, hurried to get them ready for bed. Every night I stayed late to do my own coursework. And all over again the next day, year after year, for over 15 years. With all the rushing, I missed so much, struggling to survive and build a better life. I missed spending time to read to my kids. I missed building a bond with them. I missed protecting them. Missed teaching my kids the simplest things in life. How to tie your shoes, how to ride a bike, how to swim, how to push yourself in a swing, and simply allowing them to be children. True, I was a provider, but missed on being a mom. I can never relive those moments. Now, when my children are in their 30s, I'm trying so hard to catch up and make up for all the lost time. It pains me to think how much my kids missed and needed me. I want to be there for my adult children. I'm one of the lucky ones, though. Very fortunate. I was able to divorce. Uncommon in my family and in our culture. The year I graduated with a master's degree, I met an amazing man who became my second husband. Every dream I ever had came true in my second marriage. Today, I'm incredibly blessed to start my morning with a loving hug and end my day with a tender, I love you. It is an amazing feeling to know that I can rely on a husband who is by my side, however difficult our circumstances get. This I never thought I can have. My life is far from all rainbows and sunshine, but when I look back, I'm grateful and proud for how far we've come, how much we learned, and what a great deal we've all accomplished. My daughter grew up to be a remarkable young woman practicing law in Los Angeles. My son taught me how to parent and love unconditionally. He's the kindest, most loving person I know. My stepdaughter shows me every day that motherhood can be an exceptionally joyful. My stepson inspired me with his hard work and positive outlook in life. The youngest of our children turned into a beautiful, independent young lady who cooks everything from scratch. Impressive, really. Our children taught me how to be a better human. Every day, I remind myself not to rush. During our walks now, I try to remember that getting to the end of the walk and maximizing my daily step count is not what's the most important. I stop and listen to the peaceful crackle of the cold stream running through the tall, giant trees. I stop for a few minutes, look up, and spot the birds that are flying in unison and singing joyously in a distance. I slow down and watch the dance of swaying trees, whispering softly as I pass by. Walking up and down the rocks, big boulders, muddy paths, gravelly roads, I allow myself to notice the footsteps left behind by the forest creatures and other humans. I point out the trees which cracked in half, fell down, and left a huge hole in the middle of their trunks. I notice the dents and crevices in all kinds of sizes, shapes, and depths, pecked by birds, dug by worms, and other insects. I allow myself to slow down, walk through the freshly fragrant, stunning forest, and indulge in all my senses. I stand still and listen deeply. I listen to the forest silence and enjoy the quiet. Today, I ask my children how they are doing. I ask how I can help. I make time to cook their favorite dishes. I sit with them and listen. I pay attention when they speak. I tell them how much they mean to me. I accept that I was not there for them when they were growing up and ask for their forgiveness. Our past might have been turbulent and out of our control. We may not be fortunate to live a future we dream about or long for, but we certainly have all it takes to appreciate the now and live it right. I truly hope this day inspires you to dream. Never give up for the better future. And pause to appreciate every today. I want to leave you with this ancient Sanskrit poem. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the realities and truths of existence, the joy of growth, the splendor of action, the glory of power. For yesterday is but a memory, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a memory of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day.
In this unusual time when we cannot be together as we are accustomed, the work to fulfill the mission of our church continues. Our staff work harder than ever to support our connections as a community, and our efforts to create justice in the wider community continue. The need for us to fund these efforts is even more important than ever. Please go to firstunitarianprov.org and click on the Give menu. You may do so during the following offertory music, or you may prefer to wait until after the end of the service. As always, thank you for all that you give, all that you do, and all that you are.
Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the world. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where his feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light Eden saw play. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the world.
We hope that you've enjoyed our service today. As a self-supporting congregation and a beloved, aspiring community, we rely on generosity and commitment to keep us vital and relevant. We invite you to practice generosity and dedication by going to www.firstunitarianprov.org and clicking where it says Give to support the mission and vision of this church. And now please join me as we extinguish our chalice. Carry the flame of peace, love, and hope until we meet again.
May